All right, here we go. I'm gonna take you on a journey with me in my 99 Viper RT10. Hopefully give you a little overview of my past year of ownership, what I like, what I don't like. Hopefully cover some things that you haven't heard of yet. There are a lot of Viper videos out there that cover pretty much anything you'd want to know about it, right? And the majority of it's positive. You know, the typical, people say build quality, you know, it's rudimentary, bare bones, but to me that's what makes this car so great. One thing that people don't mention is the community around these cars is incredible. The Viper guys are from my experience, really down-to-earth people. Great people to know, have a fun time with. I'm actually headed there to a Twin Peaks right now. I didn't get up early enough for the Cars and Coffee here in Dallas, but they did, and we're gonna meet up and get some, you know, lunch or brunch, whatever you want to call it. Hang out for a little bit. As you can probably hear, the car is pretty loud. I am catless, and I got BBE Catback Exhaust, Billy-Boat exhaust catback. Both of those are a must with the Gen 2s, and at least for all Gen Vipers, since that cat lives right in the side sill, it heats up a lot, and it really makes the cabin hot. So at least high flow cats seem to be at the bare minimum for what you need to get done. Catback exhaust really makes the car sound like it needs to sound. When I got this car, I had the original exhaust, and I didn't touch any of that. I didn't modify any of that. That's all sitting up in my room, actually. So if it ever came time to sell this car, which I'm never planning on selling it, that helps with the resale value. That's one thing. Every part I've taken off this car, I'm storing and I haven't modified. So that's a tip, you know, if you're looking to get a classic car like this, and I do consider it a classic, right? I mean, this car is 22 years old. The values of these cars in 2020 and beginning of 2021 have gone through the roof. And that's like most luxury goods. You know, I would consider this a luxury item. You know, no one's buying a Viper to daily commute. Some people do daily these cars, and they have hundreds of thousands of miles on them. So they are very reliable. I've had almost no issues with this car in my 1 year of ownership. The one issue I did have was the door wires that connect the door to the main cabin. There's a little rubber boot there, and the wires in those get bent, and over time they can actually break the wire. So I had to go in there and solder in a new connection for 2 wires. My door latch wasn't working. That was the one issue. Everything else is fluids, and then just drive the car. It's been a whole lot of fun. Like I said, very reliable. Like I said, this is the 99, so it's got the 708 cam and the forged pistons, which to me were must-haves. ABS, I didn't really care about. That's the 01, 02 Vipers. I didn't really need that personally, just because in Dallas, you know, it's dry weather. I can drive this car 12 months out of the year, and if it is raining or inclement weather, I'm just not going to take the Viper out. I did drive it in the rain to a Cars and Coffee probably last month, and I have Pirellis on here now to fit the original 18-inch wheels that came with this car, and I was super impressed with how those hooked up. So I'm a Michelin guy, but these Pirellis, they do the job. If I really was worried about performance, the next performance upgrade I'd do, other than the smooth tubes and cold air intake or K&N intake filters I got on this would be upgrade the gears, go a little bit lower. That's what people say really brings a car alive. You know, at 80 miles an hour, I'm going 1,500 RPM in this car. So, you know, it's definitely got some long gears in it. That is one thing, you know, if you're looking to really romp on it, that most people make that upgrade. You know, and here's the thing is, this thing is still extremely quick by today's standards, but and a full bolt-on Mustang or Camaro will probably walk this thing all day, even with my exhaust mods and intake mods. I mean, it's lightweight, but it just isn't putting out that crazy power that some of these modern day V8s are putting out. You know, so I mean, one thing though is the looks of this car. They're just absolutely timeless. So that kind of brings me to my next point is the RT10s are actually selling at a discount compared to the GTSs. And I'm not going to sit here and say I don't love the GTS. I almost closed on 2 GTSs before I bought this RT10. One was a 99 ACR, and the other one was a 97 GTS. The 97 GTS just actually sold out from under me. I didn't make it quick enough. Then I found this car, 11,000 miles, 99, absolutely perfect. So the looks of this car, right? So with the roof on, I will say it's probably a 9 out of 10 compared to the GTS, which is a 10 out of 10. Okay, so with the roof off, right? And this is where I'm probably going to post in a picture of this car I took with the roof off. I put this car right up there with the GTS. I mean, they designed the body lines of this car in the Gen 1, which are pretty much unchanged, other than some, you know, the side exhaust and the hood modifications. With the hood, with the roof off, I think this car is just as good looking as the GTS. And you know, it's all your perspective, right? You know, there's nothing like the top off, and that's coming from someone that really doesn't like convertibles, right? I never really had the urge to own a convertible. I thought, you know, the coupes were all sporty, and they are, right? That, you know, they have the body rigidity and everything. But with this car, I really don't see how the rigidity is that much more on the GTS, because it's the frame on this car is the same. Everything's the same. And just that rear end of the GTS, which really gives it that aggressive look. So I mean, that's the thing is, if you had 2 identical cars, an RT10 and the GTS, same year, same mileage, same service history, just the only difference is RT10 and GTS. And if the RT10 is selling at, you know, even a couple thousand less, we'll say the GTS is selling at 50 and the RT10 is selling at 45, I would purchase the RT10. There's just not enough there with the GTS, in my opinion, that warrants that $5,000 premium. Yeah, so I mean, so that's specific to the RT10 talk. I know I haven't really seen a lot of videos specific to the RT10, so that's my little plug. So we'll go to the roof off experience. I mean, this is just, like I said, I'm not a convertible person by any means, and I know this is a roadster, not a convertible, as people will have it. But there's just something about it, you know, cruising with the top off. And that's the other thing. So I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. I fit in here no problem. With that hard top on here, I do kind of have to maneuver my head down and under. But once I'm in, I'm good. You know, it's comfortable for me, and my dad, who's about 6'4", he fit in here no problem as well. So if you're on the taller side, I would actually probably recommend you to go with the RT10, just because you get unlimited head clearance. You know, and I know the GTS has that bubble, which helps tall people as well. So there's that. Gas mileage is horrendous, anywhere between 10 and 13 miles to the gallon. You know, 'cause you can't just drive this car normally. You know, when I'm cruising, I'm cruising, but when you get a stoplight, it's hard not to get on it. You know, people love this car anywhere you go. I was at a car meet last night. By by no means was this the most expensive car there, but it definitely drew the biggest crowd. People love it. I mean, it's an American classic. Specific to this car that has the cognac interior, red exterior. So if you're on the Viper registry page or anything like that, you'll see this car is actually what I would call an asterisk car, meaning that this is a very, very exclusive, rare example. I have the brochure for 99, and it says that the cognac interior is not available with a red exterior, but somehow they made 3 of these cars. And again, why that's significant is because this was the last year for those forged pistons and the 708 camshaft. That 708 camshaft is the biggest reason why I like it, because you'll hear this thing at idle. It's lumpy. It sounds like a muscle car. Compared to the 2000 and 2002, I've heard with exhaust, they just don't idle and have that rumble that this car has. So without tearing apart the car and putting a different camshaft in there, you know, from the factory, this thing has a pretty mean sound. I'm cruising in 5th gear right now, 60 miles an hour at 1700 RPM. You know, if I put it in 6th, I'll go down to like 1300 RPM at 55 miles an hour. So I mean, it's really, it has that really long rear end. If I say it, I'm gonna be off. I think it's like a 307 rear end maybe. But I think people put up to like a 373. Again, those numbers probably wrong, and I'll probably have something in the comments clarifying that and correcting myself. Handling wise, I mean, this thing is incredible, right? I mean, even by today's standards, this thing is still very potent. And just such a unique sound. You know, you just don't hear that on the road. And you don't see these on the road either. I mean, the only other times I see Vipers on the road is when I'm pulling back from a car meet. So, right now I'm just cruising. I'm gonna have to get gas here soon. I'm on 160 miles for this tank, 18-mile tank, and if you remember what I said before, you get about 10 to 13. So 180 miles is about as far as I want to drive on a tank of this car. One thing that absolutely people love at the car shows is that clamshell hood when you pop it open, and you get that big 8-liter V10. I mean, this car really is just all motor, and it's a wonder they made it, honestly. It's just completely ridiculous. But then again, I mean, sports cars' practicality are kind of thrown out the window anyways. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. If it's a little chilly, I can cruise with the top off. You know, I got the side windows up right now to keep the wind down so you can hear me. But what you can do is you crank the heat, and that way, you know, you're staying warm, but you're still getting that open cockpit experience. If I had another garage spot, I would probably get another one. I would probably get one not as nice as this, because this, I mean, like I said, 11,000 miles. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm the second owner. I mean, it's really a true survivor. If I were to get another one, I'd probably get one with higher mileage, maybe not as clean, so that way I really wouldn't feel bad romping on it. You know, this car, I'm very, very careful with just driving, you know, looking out for potholes all the time. And I would probably do the same for the other car. But this one, you know, you scrape the front or something, you cringe, you know, you go, yikes, I'm gonna have to get the touch-up paint out and clean up that bottom lip later. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the best choices I've made is this car. You know, I was between this and a C6 Z06. And that C6 Z06, quite have the wow factor as this car. Performance-wise, probably a little bit quicker. So we're almost at our destination here. I'm meeting up with 2 Gen 5 guys. One of them's got an orange TA, and the other one, I get confused with the nomenclature, but I think it's just a GTS. But he's lower and he's got some beautiful wheels on it, a white one. Yeah, those Gen 5s, I'd like to add one of those to my collection too. But those prices, just like everything else, has gotten pretty crazy. And there they are. Ooh, and a black GTS. Look at that. On Rattlers. Hopefully you guys can see that in the background. There we are. We made it.